Okay, for the charging handle on this, I've sort of gone with like a little piece of pipe, and I've cut a little notch in it for the future sight that will be up here. You guys can use whatever you want. I just found this would be easiest. You can make something out of cardboard, or you can do something. I don't really have any real good suggestions for this other than this little piece of pipe. Yeah, just work with that. Hopefully you can come up with something. Just remember to put a little notch in it for the sight. I used to use an X-Acto knife and a pair of scissors to sort of work a notch into that. It's still drying, so I thought I'd just show you to you while it's still kind of in the works. But either way, we're going to move on to the grip, and that will go on. The grip sides will look like this after they're installed. Then using that technique earlier I showed you for like the front and the inside of the thing for the charging handle, where you just put a piece on, and like a larger piece on and cut it out. That's what you do with this. I'll do that in a minute. But when you put the grips on, make sure that they line up. Oh, I just realized I'm not even pointing it at the camera. Either way, sorry. Make sure that they line up with the front of the charging ejection port. Sorry. Make sure that they line up with the front of the ejection port. And that way it'll, because in reality the magazine will go in. Let me get the one for the other MAC-10 here. In reality the magazine will go in and it will line up with the ejection port, and that's how it carries around into the chamber and fires. So make sure that lines up, and then use the technique to fill this in and the back end, and then we'll put the little curve part on after. Okay, using that technique, we've now should have filled in the front and the back of the mag well. And with that filled in now, I'm just using, this is a magazine from my other one. This will be basically what it looks like, so you guys kind of have an idea. Your magazine will be able to fit in like that. Now, next part we're going to have to make is on my old MAC-10 here. Let me put down my new one. You'll see there's like a curved part here. Now, I'm going to trace this out of my old one. Now, you guys can try and, I don't know, I guess trace it out somehow, draw it out, but you don't even really have to put that on. You can just leave it as like this if you really want to. I just like to put it on because it gives it a little bit extra look. So I'm going to put that on mine, and you'll see it when it's done. So, okay, continuing where we left off, which I can't really remember because I'm starting and filming at a later time now, but either way, I'm pretty sure it was about this grip, this part. So basically, like I said in my other part, just trace it out, and yeah, not trace it out, just draw it out, get it as good as you can, and then just glue it on. I did mine in layers like this, or you can just do one side, then put a piece in between, and then do another side. Either way, as long as it's pretty shaped like that, it should be fine, and your hand fits in there well. You don't even have to do that if you don't want to. So by now your charging handle should be all finished. And it should be ready for the magazine now. So we'll start the magazine. Okay, now the magazine is just taking those 4 strips you cut and just gluing them together. 1 along the bottom, 2 along the inside of each side of this strip, and then 1 more on top. And then after we have this done, we'll start on the trigger and trigger guard. Okay, for like the trigger and the guard, you're going to want to cut a piece of cardboard about that size. I don't know what the measurement is. About 1 centimeter across top, and I think it was 8 centimeters long. So 8 centimeters long by 1 centimeter across. And then you glue it on something like that. And then Now I just made a trigger, now I don't know where I put it. There it is. Just make like a little piece of cut out a little piece of cardboard that looks kind of like a trigger, and just glue that on right inside the guard. And when it's all assembled, it should look like this. Now you can see I got the trigger and guard on there. Trigger doesn't really work. You can try and make it work better, but mine's just a little mock-up, and then the guard. So you've basically built the MAC-10. At this point you can just stop and paint it, or you can paper mache. Well, actually I just remembered, never mind. We still have to put this triangle looking little strip thing here, and we have to put the rear sight, and it's up to you if you want to put the stock on. I'm probably going to put the stock on, so yeah, next part will be that. Okay, and now for these little little angle pieces sticking up off of the receiver. They will end up looking like this, and then you will glue them on after, like that. And I'll give you the measurements for these. Let me just get my ruler. And these are, I can't really remember, so I'm gonna have to measure it myself. .23 and 5/16 inches long. So 23 and 5/16 inches long to here. Well, as long as the actual receiver itself, but to the point where it starts angling up like this, it's 17 and 2/16 to here. And 6 and 5/16 inches, centimeters up. 1 and 5/16 inches across the top here. And the height here is 1 centimeter. Now I'm sorry if I accidentally mixed up centimeters and inches here, but remember it's all in centimeters. Okay, and you'll want to make 2 of these. Then once you do, you'll put them on the gun, and okay, it'll look like this with the sides on them. And then once it's painted, it'll look a lot better. So up next will be the rear sight and the front sight. Okay, for the rear sight you're going to want to cut a little triangle piece kind of like this, and it will go on the back of the gun like that. So glue that on, and then we'll work on the front sight. Okay, that's the rear sight glued on, and here is the front sight made up. It's just a strip of cardboard with the side folded up, cut on an angle and rounded on the top, and I glued the front post in already. Now sorry this isn't very detailed, but I only have 33 seconds left of memory left. So I'll just show you putting it on. Put a little bit of glue there, and stick it on. You want the angled part of the front sight going down, and it should look pretty good. Okay, next part will be the stock. Okay, now this part is kind of optional. This is the part for the stock. You don't have, at this point, with the front sight added, rear sight added, and all the other stuff added, you don't really need the stock. There are some models without the stock, so it's your choice if you want to stop building it now. Now you can choose if you want to paper mache it, or just paint it the way it is. You can paper mache by using school glue and paintbrush and newspaper. Just put the school glue on, put the newspaper on it. I may show that later, but for now I'm going to show how to build the stock if you want that. If not, then you make your choice if you want to paper mache it, and thank you for watching at this point. And I'll continue on with the stock from here. Okay. Now I've already pre-bent the wire for this, but this is some of my wire I used for like my Wonder Waffle and my other guns. What other guns did I use this on? Either way, doesn't really matter. You're gonna want to bend it like this. I don't know. You guys can try and figure that out. Either way, and then we're gonna want to make a little piece that looks like this and comes around like that. So we'll get started on that. And okay, with that piece made, I've sort of attached the stock to it. And you may have to reshape it a little bit to get it to work properly, but what I've done is I just kind of angled the little ends and stabbed the cardboard, stabbed it in through the cardboard. It's not really the greatest thing to do, but you know what, it works. So just cut your little piece kind of like that. And just fold in the sides like that and shape it like rounded and then angle again, kind of like the front sight, but they're kind of rounded and flat. And then what you want to do is, after you have this ready, you're going to want to attach to the gun, and then once it's attached, it should look like this. Now, with the stock added, you are pretty much done. Only one more little detail is adding the two little lines on this side, like on here. See the two lines? Basically, you just take hot glue and just run lines along there. And once you do that, you're done. Congratulations, a round of applause to you. You've built yourself a MAC-10. And if you did it properly to my tutorials, you'd have a removable, smooth working magazine, a good looking trigger guard, working charging handle that works nice and smooth, some nice sights. I'm not going to be able to line those up right now. They do look good. And all the little details. And from here you can decide if you want to paper mache and paint, leave cardboard colors, or just paint black as it is. So thank you for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Tell me what you think, because this took a while to make. It took about a complete day to make, and probably a little bit more time in editing. So thank you for watching again. And